Okay, sometimes being human is weird. Social interactions can become so awkward. And that's why in today's episode of the Confidence Podcast, I'm going to be coaching and talking on how to talk to anyone with confidence. We're talking people who are your peers, your superiors, strangers, people you're intimidated by. We're going to cover it all. Maybe it's small talk that trips you up, or walking into a room of people that you don't know, or trying to make an overall good impression, but overthinking everything. Maybe it's a presentation, it's introducing people, it's you going on a date. Listen, you find yourself overthinking when you want to be. These are the moments we want to be most self assured, most confident, and you end up feeling awkward. Today's episode is going to help you no longer feel so awkward in any social situation and in any conversation with anyone. So if you've ever wished that you were just one of those people who could walk up and start a conversation with confidence, this episode is not even just going to help you believe that you can, but we're going to teach you how to do it. This is your permission slip. You don't have to fake it. You just need a few mindset shifts and then some practical tools that I'm going to give you today. And that's what we're covering in today's episode. Let's dive in. You're listening to the Confidence Podcast, the go-to coaching podcast, oozing with motivation and easy to implement steps that help you to be bold and confident in life. I'm your host, Trish Blackwell, internationally recognized confidence coach, best-selling author, and founder of the College of Confidence. I teach go-getters in life how to master their self-talk, turn down the volume of self-doubt, and get more results in life so that you can be the difference maker and world changer God created you to be. You were made for more, and today's episode will help you tap into it. Let's go. Hey guys, it's Trish Blackwell, and you're listening to the Confidence Podcast. I am so glad you're here. This is episode 650, which is a kind of cool milestone. I didn't plan anything or a way to celebrate, but I'm sure I will be celebrating this week on social media. So if you are not yet hanging out with me on Instagram, it's Trish_Blackwell over there. So come hang out with me. We're going to talk about how to talk to anyone with confidence. And I want you to know that it's everyone has something in some area of social confidence they can improve. This is my introverts. This is for my extroverts. This is for my ambiverts. Everyone. My goal is that you interact with enjoyment, that you connect with strangers in the one sentence exchange, the one word exchange, as much as you connect with your friend group or your school classmates or your professors, that you can communicate and advocate your thoughts, your feelings, and your desired communication with confidence without then thinking, oh my gosh, did I say the wrong thing? Did I make an idiot of myself? Why did I overtalk, overshare? Or maybe you have the tendency to pull back and be a wallflower. And then you kick yourself in the pants for being so shy or awkward or reserved when that's not really who you are. We're going to drop all judgment here. If you've done any of my courses, if you've been in my mentorship group, the College of Confidence, you know that one of our core beginning steps is to release all judgment. You cannot grow in a place of criticism and judgment. So one of the core things to confidence is compassion and curiosity. And so we're going to have compassion and curiosity over those moments where we have social blunders. I want you to think about the last time you interacted in a social setting and you realized that wasn't really me. Whether you felt more reserved or whether you overcompensated and found yourself gossiping or bragging to fill the empty spaces, and you don't want to be either of those things, but you still were. This isn't to then go, oh, I can't believe I did that. Because that's judgment. We want to go, isn't it interesting that I started doing this or that, or I have a tendency to do this around these types of people? The curiosity and the compassion for, wow, there's something that's behind that, that's making me want to self-protect, or that's making me tiptoe, and that is, I'm intimidated, or I show up as an awkward expression of myself, not a fully confident, self-assured expression. And so I want to start by just normalizing that a lot of this goes on. One of the things is that people go, well, this is just, I'm the only one struggling with this. I want you to know this is part of being human. And so for me, it's interesting. My background, my social anxiety story is that I've always had it, but I'm also a very confident, energetic, joyful extrovert. And so I was homeschooled as a kid, if you don't know that. And while I was with homeschooled, I was also a ridiculously um, competitive and standout athlete, meaning I was training with kids who were older than me. I advanced very quickly. I had a lot of spotlights on me, a lot of expectations, which also meant I had to be more mature than I potentially was. It also meant that the people I trained with and I worked out with and I competed against didn't want the little athlete coming up. And so it was, I knew I didn't belong. And then as it was, I had some, I didn't have the social school background. And so I always felt like I didn't fit, but I was massively extroverted and a social butterfly. So I had to learn to navigate who am I in relation to others. And, I was always a natural leader, but I would question my small talk. And I want you to know, listen, all of this is normal when you're thinking about how do I show up in the world? How can I speak to others with confidence? How can I talk to anyone with confidence? We first have to get curious about what is my story about communication with other people? If I think about myself as a child, what was I like? How did I interact? Was I proactive and engaged in the group? Would I lead conversations, tell jokes, or was I waiting to be brought in and to participate as invited? Not that we need to continue to be either versions of those, but it's so interesting to see that one type of expression of you is a way that you communicate with others. And talking is that. Now, one thing I think that helped and served me so much in my relationship with understanding where I fit in this world and that I really do have the confidence to talk to anyone was, and even though I was homeschooled before homeschooling was cool. Can we just state that for the record? So the homeschoolers at my time in the oh my gosh, in the 90s, they were not cool. And so I was like the weird kid and the weird athlete and this. And so those things were going against me, but what was going for me and that I want to share with you that my mom instilled so deeply into me was I was taught that my voice matters. I was taught to ask questions, that it's always better to ask a question than to be left wondering. You're never wrong to ask a question because there's no such thing as a bad one. I was taught to speak up for myself and my faith. I was taught that I belong into any room that I go into. I was taught that there is something to learn from everyone. Meanwhile, and every person I interact with has a lesson for me. And meanwhile, I can belong in any room I go into because people can also learn from me, whether I'm the oldest, the most experienced, the youngest, and the most inexperienced. Everyone can learn from one another. And that's the beauty, it's the humility to know that every person I interact with has something to teach me. And so I was taught that my contribution always matters. And so I want to I want to give you a three-part formula today on how to have easy conversations. But first, one of the things I want to, the core foundation before we even go through the formula is that you have to believe the simple mindset shift that connection over perfection, communication, speaking to anyone, whether this is you want to have more confidence to get on stage, you want to have more confidence to get behind a video camera and do TikTok, you want to have more confidence to be more social, proactively social in your network, your neighborhood, your school, how to talk to anyone. So we have to say, there's no right thing to say. I'm here to connect. Connection over perfection. Now, how do you connect? You ask questions. You be the first person to say hello. You show more interest in the other person than you expect for them to ever have in you. Every one of us, some of our deepest core human desires is to be seen and heard. Essentially, we want to know, do you see me? Does what I say matter? And do I matter? And anytime that you interact with anyone, whether it's a cashier at Target or a friend you're trying to get to know or a stranger you're walking by on the sidewalk, you can convey that to them with being the first to say hello, with asking questions about them, by realizing that I don't have to have the perfect thing to say, by speaking to somebody in another language. Maybe you're trying to master your confidence in a second language and talking to anyone with confidence. And as a linguist myself, I know it. There's a whole level of intimidation about speaking in communicating in a language that's not your native tongue and doing it with confidence, because you cannot do it with perfection. You have to make mistakes on the way. And really, the whole point of it all is connection. So most people end up overthinking conversations because they focus on saying the right thing. Confidence comes when you shift your focus. How can I connect instead of what should I say? How can I connect instead of what should I say? And this goes down to that's a really great question to ask yourself if you're ever if you have a friend or someone you love going through something hard and you're like, I want to reach out, but I don't know what to say. There's never the right thing to say. You probably don't know what the grief that they're walking through feels like or the pain that they're experiencing physically. But they don't want to be ignored. They also don't want you to want to think of the perfect thing to say so that you end up never saying it. Ask yourself instead, how can I connect? What if there was no pressure here? What if there was no pressure here? How can I connect? By the way, there is if you tend to be somebody that puts pressure on yourself, make sure you are following the show. Hit that little plus button, hit select all downloads. We have some really good episodes coming down the line, and how to perform under pressure is one of them. And then one of our biggest and most widely listened to episodes was, let me see, it was episode, I'm looking here, Confidence When There's Pressure, episode 645. So go back and listen to that if you haven't yet already. Episode 645. There is no pressure in how you talk to people. If you ask yourself the question, how can I connect? And that is the power of curiosity. When you're genuinely interested in others, conversations flow naturally. So a simple phrase to ground yourself, to take yourself from this overthinking, feeling awkward moment is, people love to talk about themselves. I just have to ask. And then you can start practicing. The way to get better at talking with confidence to anyone is to start practicing which questions feel most natural for me to ask people. And I also want you to know, let's talk about this other block that keeps people from talking to anyone with confidence. And it is this. There are certain people that will intimidate you. And I just want you to pay attention to them. Who intimidates you and why? Identify them. Typically, it's an type of person, an avatar. Maybe it's someone taller than you. Maybe it's someone older than you. Maybe it's somebody that you deem ahead of you in some capacity. But identify who it is and then get curious. Ask yourself that direct question. Why am I allowing this person to intimidate me? And I want you to give yourself an extra pep talk when it comes to interacting with people like that, to normalize them. Whether it's one thing I love, I mean, we've all heard this, when the public speaking adage of, hey, if you go on stage and you're nervous, just imagine everyone's naked. Now, I don't know if that's going to work or not, but I do know that I like to look at people and realize everyone sleeps. And I imagine that person like snuggled up in their bed and with their pillow. And I'm like, I wonder what they are like at rest. We're all simply human, beautiful creatures in the image of God. And so to normalize that, maybe for you, it's that everybody puts one pant leg on at the same time, but whatever you need to do to normalize them, say, this is just another human. People love to talk about themselves. All I have to ask, how can I connect? So when you identify someone who makes you nervous or intimidates you, remember this, it's ultimately coming from your fear of judgment from them, or fear of rejection, or you're feeling less than. I'll be transparent with you all. One of my categories of people that used to intimidate me when I spoke to them were, wait for it, I know some of you are listening or out there, and you're going to think this is hilarious, hairdressers. And now here's why. I had a lot of hair insecurity as a kid. My mom had really curly hair. Like curly, like she used a pick, not a brush. Like she did not own a brush. She owns picks. And I had straight hair. She didn't really know how to teach me how to do it. Then I didn't have the money for highlights, so I was doing box, highlights myself, and I was always like, oh, this doesn't look good. Now I obviously have a hairdresser now, but I still have old thoughts when I meet a hairdresser that she's looking at my hair going, oh, girl, do better, which is not what you're thinking. And even if you are, it's probably a passing thought, and you're like, oh, whatever, it's just Trish. But it was so freeing once I realized it was fear of judgment. And once you identify what you need to, what the block is, it's not the person. It's your thoughts. We are mind reading. We are pretending that I can read the mind of the person who's looking at me, which is ridiculous. I can't. So once you identify what you want to, once you name it, your fear of judgment, then you can tame it. Now, if you didn't do my reframe mastery challenge, we have now put that in a course you can buy. I'm going to tell you, you need to just go to the website, go to trishblackwell.com/reframe. It's a 5 video series, 5 steps. The reviews are off the charts. Like, this is, if you want to, first off, I would want to take all of you past what we cover here on the surface in the podcast, which, of course, the next step is the College of Confidence, where I personally mentor you and we have community together and I help you identify goals to make how you show up in this world better, make your life better, make your impact more profound. But if you're not ready for that, you absolutely need to grab the Reframe Mastery course. It is incredible. Right now it's on sale for $27. So go check it out, at least read the reviews. But we talk about this to name it. In order to tame it, we have to name it. And that's where the power of reframing comes in. When it comes to somebody who's intimidating you, or maybe you're thinking about wanting to be confident in an interview scenario or on your first date, this is the work we have to do. We have to reframe, identify what's happening, and then reframe that they're not a person who's above you. They don't hold all the power. They're just a person with their own insecurities too. And one of the grounding phrases that you can say to yourself is, I belong in this conversation. Let's do the three-part method for easy conversations. You're gonna always, step one is to open with ease. Simple start. Hey, casual. Hey, how's it going? Hey, and if at every time that you can, use someone's first name. Hey, Hannah, hey, Hannah, how's it going? Hey, Trish. And then step two, and compliment. A natural opener is anything that's a compliment. Build the person up. Oh, I love your shoes. Your nail color is great. That hat looks great on you. You got some pep in your step today. Find a way to build somebody up and they will be warm and open to you. They might be a little on guard. That's okay. And then we keep it flowing. So step one, open with ease. Step two, keep it flowing. And you can use what we call the forward method to help you stay and come out and think on the fly of easy topics. What is the forward method? Family, occupation, recreation, or dreams. And so you want to come up with things and ways to get people open. Hey, what are you guys doing this weekend? How many kids are in your family? You came from how many siblings? Or tell me what you're most excited about in the next 6 months. Do you guys have any trips coming up? Recreation, what do you do for fun? What kind of exercise do you like to do? And then you exit gracefully. So open with ease, keep it flowing using forward, family, occupation, recreation, or dreams. And you're the person expressing interest in the other. You will always somebody will remember you as more confident, even if they know nothing about you, because you directed the conversation the whole time. And then exit gracefully. And you can just simply go, hey, Trish, it was so good chatting with you. I actually have to keep going, but I look forward to seeing you again. Hey, let's stay in touch. I'll see you around next time. A simple, graceful, kind close of the conversation. There's nothing wrong. Hey, so glad I got to see you today, that we got to chat. I got to head and stay on my time schedule. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I need to leave. I think there's a lot of people that tiptoe around just the exit. There's nothing wrong with gracefully closing the circle of a conversation. And so I want you to remember this when it comes to big talks, important talks. There's, whether it's like a big, like a coming of age talk with one of your children. It's a big, maybe you have to lead a team meeting to hit your sales goal, and everybody's bonuses depend on how you can motivate the team, or you're team captain of your sports team in college, and the funding for the next seasons depending on how well you guys perform at your tournament. I need you to know this. Go back and listen to episode 645 first off, but also you have to tell yourself there is no such thing as perfection. This is about connection. How can I spark life into these people? I belong here. Slow your speech down. Let your breath be your first word. I think sometimes we overthink. Breathe, let that be your first word, and then launch into what you're going to say. And you don't have to say the right thing. You just have to be willing to have the conversation. It's about, again, it grows with practice. The more you put yourself out there, the easier it becomes. The more you put yourself out there, the easier it becomes. And I think that there's cool things we can do here. And they're both grounded in curiosity. You get to be curious about the people around you, curious about what makes them tick, curious about what excites them, curious about what you could find that you have in common. Because effective conversation is really about building others up, letting them know that you see them, you hear them, you care, and then getting curious about, oh, I also am into true crime, or oh, cool, my family used to do fish fries too. Finding a common connecting point will build connection with you and someone else. When there is connection, confidence is created. And so we're going to be curious in conversations when we talk to anyone about, ooh, what is it that I could say? That's going to get them to open up. So let your small talk, let your conversations be a game. Be about being curious about how to connect, how to build up, and how to get a conversation to flow. The more you practice fluidly showing up with confidence in conversations and initiating conversations and not really exiting from the overthinking, I wonder what they think about me. If you get people to talk about themselves, they're always going to think you're awesome. And follow up. And if you've seen somebody again the next time, hey, how'd that thing go? Tell me a little bit about it. You will make them light up. It's so simple. You don't have to be a great conversationalist. You just have to be curious about what makes someone tick, what kind of questions my personality, there'll be certain questions that will flow from me more easily than from my husband. Lean into your personality. Some of this is going to be experimentation. And the other cool thing is it's the curiosity about yourself. It is not wrong or bad or catastrophic if you overthink. If you find, ooh, why do I keep getting intimidated around these three people? This is where we tap into curiosity again. Curiosity is it's a gift and an open door to growth. And so while we get to be curious about others, curious about how to have better conversations, we also get and connect with people. We also get to be curious about connecting deeper with ourselves about what are the best ways for me to communicate? How can I be a better listener? My husband has very lovingly pointed out, I'm actively working on my awareness of a bad habit of interrupting him, especially when he's telling a story or interjecting and cutting him off. And I don't want that. I can improve that. I get to be curious, what a growth opportunity. I actually have this, I'd recommend if you're a journaler. If you're not a journaler, I think everybody should be journaling. If you don't know how to journal, go into the show notes. I have a journal mastery bundle that will teach you everything you need to know about how to journal for growth. But in my journaling, one of the things I also like is I do my journaling method that I teach in that program, but I also have every few pages, I have a little, I just write growth opportunities and I put a rectangle box around it. And I list out all the areas where I'm like, ooh, I can definitely improve in here. I definitely shouldn't have cussed around my daughter the other day. I can definitely be more curious or patient or about something with my husband. And I just go, rather than what I used to do would beat myself up, I'm like, oh, wow, like this is cool. I have so much room for improvement. This is exciting. Growth is exciting. Progress is exhilarating as long as you look at it through the right lens. And so in the same way, as far as how to talk to anybody, how to have converse, maybe you just want to explore, how can I be better at calling up companies and, asking medical questions and advocating for myself? Or maybe you want to get better about how to have better small talk with your in-laws, or you want to get better about having conversations with your coworkers and being more open and connected, or maybe the moms in the sports arena where you are, and how to start. And so pick one area where you go, this is a growth opportunity for me. I love that I have a specific area that I can start practicing. Now, one simple way we can start doing this is to build conversational confidence is a smile challenge. I want you. This sounds so simple, but it's a smile is the easiest way to connect with people. And I'm guilty too of sometimes not feeling like smiling, like when I'm walking the dog. And I intentionally want to create connection with my neighbors, and I need to smile. And so I have to coach myself, Trish, be friendly. It's cool. Like, you want to be. Right now you're distracted, but smile. Tell them you see them. Acknowledge their existence. And so here's the smile challenge. Smile at 5 strangers a day, and it will start building your social ease, your social confidence. Then here's another kind of add-on. When you have the opportunity and you think about saying, you know, when you're like standing somewhere and you want to say something to somebody, but you're like, I don't really need to say it. That could be awkward or they might misinterpret. Just don't overthink it. Say something within 5 seconds of thinking it. Because typically it will be a compliment, right? Hey, I like your shoes. Ooh, I was just at a store where I could have looked back and said, I love that wine you picked out. Seems small, but I can tell you when my kids and I walk away and someone has been that extra measure of kind, we walk away and we're like, wow, that was so nice. What a beautiful human interaction. They were kind. My day feels better. I think they feel better. There's enough in our world that is dark, that is tragic, that is spiraling and chaotic and easy. Bad news surrounds us. A little bit of sunshine, a little bit of love. Let's not underestimate the value of some of these small things we're talking about. And then one daily, if you really want to get better, a daily practice challenge is that you commit to one small interaction a day that you would normally not do. So if you're in, let me know. As I said, if you really want to master the art of reframing your thoughts, especially if you have a lot of thoughts of self-judgment about how you talk to other people, how you show up, if you're awkward, if you're over explaining or too much or too little for people, listen, I think you really, your next step is to take this reframing mastery challenge. You can get access at trishblackwell.com/reframe. Hit that follow button. I will see you guys all next week here on the Confidence Podcast. It is the greatest privilege for me to be a voice of encouragement in your life. I'm so glad you are here. So thank you for listening. Go out there today. Go be more of who God created you to be. Be you. Be free. Thanks for listening to the Confidence Podcast and allowing me to be your coach today in your life. If you love the show, please let us know by leaving a review in iTunes. Are you encouraged by what you learned? Share this episode with a friend and let us know that the show is changing your life by saying hi to us on social media at Instagram, Trish_Blackwell, or on Facebook, Trish Blackwell Coaching. Ready to take what I teach and really take it to the next level? Join us today in the College of Confidence. It's my group coaching program that you can join risk-free and cancel anytime. In the COC, you'll scale your confidence, your courage, and the changes you make in your life. It's the coaching support and community you've been looking for. Go to www.collegeofconfidence.com to get started. If you love the podcast, you will love the College of Confidence even more and see even more transformation in your life. Come and see for yourself. I'm cheering you on, friend. See you soon.